is time to huddle up. Bob Slovak here with the consummate pro, Jason Alexander. You ready to ring the bell?
Are you kidding me, Bob? A loaded weekend coming up of sports. We're going to catch up with some Stros, some Rockets. And what's the best news of the weekend?
The Texans will not lose this weekend. I'm guaranteeing it because they're off this weekend. So
you heard it here first.
A little bit of good news here on Huddle Up. The Texans getting a little bit of a reprieve. And, man, what is the losing streak now? Eight?
Too many. Let's just keep it going. One win. Let's see if we can get Detroit to win a couple and get the number one pick.
Yeah, and a lot of people are already looking ahead to that Jets game on the schedule.
It's going to be a showdown.
It'll be a showdown. So, no Texans to talk about. We got college football. We're going to talk about a little preview. Andre Ware coming up in the next segment. So, he's going to give us the lowdown on the college playoff standings. Let's touch on it a little bit here, Jason. Georgia, number one by
Clear
far.
cut.
Alabama, number 2. Oregon moves up to number 3. Ohio State now number 4 after Michigan State lost. Cincinnati still undefeated at 5. Then it's Michigan, Michigan State, and OU. OU's kind of the wild card. Now, if they run the table and win the Big 12, they're going to get in.
They're going to get in, and they're going to be a couple losses in front of them as well. The big one that I want to talk about, Cincinnati. If they run the table, have an O on their record, you got to give them a shot this year. Desmond Ryder, Heisman hopeful. I really want to see Cincinnati get in the playoffs, and I think it would be a disservice if they don't.
Well, and that disservice may come with Alabama and Georgia playing in the SEC championship and Alabama winning, and then they're still going to be in the playoff, both of them.
That's right.
We'll see how it meshes out. We still got a lot of football yet to play there. So Andre Ware coming up, second segment to talk about that here on Huddle Up.
1989 Heisman Trophy winner.
Exactly. Exactly.
Right here, huddling up with us.
Yeah, he's got a lot of insight, too. Doing college football, he's calling the Cincinnati game, I believe he told me. So, all right, let's talk Rockets. 1-9. Jalen Green, 13 points a game, kind of sowing his oats a little bit. Your impressions?
Long way to go to get to our over-under, but long season. We got 82 of them to play. We got 82 to play.
Remind me the over-under, 26?
26.
Okay.
We need 26 for a winner here, Bob. We need 26 for a winner.
I'm not feeling good about it.
Not yet, but it's a long season. We're going to get these boys just a little bit of time, a little bit of space. But Jalen Green, when he gets to the line, we've been very competitive. We've had 3 leads at halftime against Denver, Golden State, and the Lakers.
Yeah.
We've been in ball games. We're just not close in the show very well. But if Jalen's got to figure out how to shoot 10 to 15 free throws a game, that's going to put the Rockets over the edge. And then KPJ, Kevin Porter Jr. has got to find his jump shot. These 3 for 18 nights are not going to get it done. But we're young, we're fun, we're athletic, and we got a lot of energy, and we're playing hard.
All right, we'll keep an eye on the Rockets in that over-under there on the points. I mean, on the wins. All right, Astros. A lot of moves in the offseason so far. They re-signed Yuli Gurriel to a one-year deal. That's good. He's the batting champ, Gold Glove.
Absolutely. Can't go wrong there.
Dusty Baker coming back. He deserved another year. So they did make the offer to Carlos Correa. 5 years, $160 million. And you're thinking, that's $30 million a year. You know, that should be enough.
It sounds good, but not for one of the best shortstops, if not the best shortstop in the game. I get they wanted to try to appease the fans a little bit. We talked about this. We touched on it. And, look, it's not going to be enough. Correa's gone, and I would expect him, like I said a couple weeks ago, I'd expect him to maybe land in Detroit with our old skipper, A.J. Hinch.
Man, that would be something.
That would be something.
Along with Verlander.
Possibly as well. Might be a double pop shop there with the old Tigers.
But we'll see if the Tigers want to give him the 10-year, $300 million contract. Because, and the thought process there is, when he's 35, 36, 37, is he going to be worth $30 million a year?
Well, it's the Chris Paul scenario as well. When the Rockets gave him that big deal. And, is Correa going to be worth that much money when he's 35, 36? And is it worth to give him that much here for the next 6-7 years to maybe have him on the decline for those last 5?
There was a report out today that his agent has already talked with the Yankees, so that's a possibility.
Well, the Yankees will give it to him.
Well, they will, but will the Yankee fans quit booing him?
Maybe not. Well, if he hits 35 dongs and hits 290, they will.
All right. Hey, we also got a big event here in Houston starting tomorrow. The Houston Open is back. You know what? I looked up the players in town, and Koepka, Patrick Reed, Shane Lowry, Jason Day, Adam Scott, Ian Poulter. They got some pretty good names out there.
Jim Crane's done a great job convincing these guys to come. New venue, Memorial Park, second year at Memorial Park. I'm excited. It's a loaded field, and my man Patrick Reed, Captain America, coming back and playing in Houston for the first time in about 7 years.
Oh, man.
So look out for old P. Reed to get a W. Came close last week in Bermuda, second place. I'm picking Patrick Reed to get the W here this weekend.
It would be great to see him winning here near the hometown here in the Woodlands. All right, hey, we're going to take a quick break. Bob Slovak, the consummate pro, here on Huddle Up. We got Andre Ware talking college football and talking Cougars, his U of H Cougars.
All right, team, your favorite pro here reporting live from the club. Now, look, in order to hit a pure golf shot, we have to do three things. We have to assess, strategize, and execute. And I'm going to tell you, the same three things apply if you're in the market for a loan. Woo! And after absolutely piping one, lucky for us, we have Jake Snortland here to tell us more about it.
Thanks, Jason. That is correct. Here at Triumph Lending, we assess, strategize, and execute in getting our borrowers the best deals possible. So feel free to give me a call. My number is 832-639-1455. And no matter if you're looking to purchase a home or refinance your current mortgage, I can get you the best deal out there today.
That's the golden trifecta for Triumph Lending. Give them a call today.
Back here in Huddle Up, Bob Slovak along with the consummate pro Jason Alexander. Hey, we got one of your golf buddies coming up right here. Andre Ware, 89 Heisman Trophy winner, college football analyst for ESPN. Always great to talk to Andre. How's his golf game?
Well, I'll tell you, inventor of the run and shoot, and talking about shoot, he can shoot some low numbers out on that golf course as well. Magic move. Always enjoy seeing old Coach Ware out on the golf course, and wonderful analyst for college football as well.
All right, let's hear. I caught up with Andre yesterday talking some college football. Here it is.
All right, joining me now is Heisman Trophy winner and college football analyst Andre Ware. Andre, good to have you with us here on Huddle Up today.
Hey, Bob, good to be with you guys, and I'm sure we're going to have a lot of fun.
We are. I'm just going to jump right into this and ask you about your Cougars. What a run they are on. Your impression on what's going on over there with the Cougars and Dana Holgorsen.
Yeah, extremely impressed with the job that Dana's done, the team. I had them a couple of weeks ago against Tulsa. They went in there and played extremely well. I think I'll have them again next Friday night, so I'll get a chance to see them up close and personal here in Houston. But, Clayton's playing well. The defense, you can't say enough about what they're doing, forcing turnovers, getting after the quarterback, and providing the offense with a lot of opportunities to put points on the board.
Did you see it coming? Did you see this coming this season?
I know there was some buildup. You just kind of wondered what the team was going to look like because there were so many moving parts, guys transferring in, guys redshirting and coming back, and so on and so forth. So you really didn't know how the chemistry would mesh. But they've hit the ground running since the Texas Tech game. I think it's 8 in a row now.
Yep.
And they're one of the hotter teams in the country.
You mentioned Clayton Tune. He's really progressed this season.
Yeah, he really has. He's showing some maturity. He's showing the leadership skills that you want from that position. He's showing the maturity from the standpoint of being in the program X amount of years and taking advantage of being in the same offense and coming back to that foundation and building from that from year in and year out. So he's playing some of his best football.
And he's surrounded by some incredible skilled players. I mean, Holgorsen, he's brought in some receivers and running backs that can really play this game.
Yeah, I said during the game at Tulsa, I'd love to have had Dale in the run and shoot, man. A guy that's small and quick and can really run. He catches the ball, everything you throw to him just about in his area, he's going to bring it down and then try to get it to the house for you. So he is one that I really like. Stewart as well. There's a lot. And then the freshman, McCaskill, coming in and providing some spark in the running game at just the right time when this offense really needed it has been kind of what it needed, so to speak.
So they got 2 games left. If they just win one of them, and they got Temple this week, they're in the championship game.
Yeah, that's going to be a little tougher game than people think, though. When you go on the road to Temple, they defend their home turf relatively well.
Yeah.
And you don't know which Temple team sometimes you're going to get. You'll get one where it's a game you're supposed to win and it happens that way, and then you'll get the Temple team that wants to fight and defend home turf. So it'll be a tough game, I think, initially out of the gate, but one the Cougs should win.
Well, they know how to come back. We've seen that. So and that comes with playing with confidence too, knowing that you know how to do it.
It comes with confidence. It comes with leadership, and they have that. They've got 6 captains that are second to none, guys that that really know how to play the game, that play it for each other, and they know what's at stake. They were talking championships way back before the season started, and they got themselves on that path, and they seem locked in.
All right, we'll see what happens when the Cougs take on Temple this weekend. I got to ask you about the college football playoffs as we tape this. The new rankings haven't come out, but the two things, and I talked to Spencer Tillman about this last week. I said, OU's undefeated. They're eighth or something like that. Cincinnati is ranked in the top 3 in the country, but they're not in it. I guess it's all going to mesh out because everybody's got there's a lot of teams playing each other and everything. When it comes down to it, if Cincinnati runs the table and they're undefeated, should they be in the top 4 and be in the playoff?
Should they be? Yes. Will they be? No. It's just not designed for Group 5 teams. And I've kind of been on that, singing that song all season long. I've been singing it for the last couple of years. It's just not made that way. And the poison pill in all of this is going to be strength of schedule. And their conference schedule will not get them to the party, so to speak. Is it right? No, by no means do I think it's right. I think I've said it trying to almost shame the committee into doing the right thing nationally every time I'm on. But I just don't think it's designed that way. I think I've heard some comments from Dana and how disgusted he was in the process. It's just unfortunate that's how it is. But until we get a system that puts more teams in, and hopefully it's not more teams from Power 5 conferences that go into that mix and leaving Group 5 schools out of it. Hopefully they get it right when they realign and get this thing redone going forward.
You know what's going to happen. They're going to go to a 12 or 16 team. Say they go to a 16-team bracket. 6 of the teams will be from the SEC. I'm telling you,
That's exactly right. I mean, it's unfortunate. It's just how it is. And they want to see the bigger name programs with the paydays, and that's how it's been for however long. I don't know if there's anything else that Cincinnati could do. You go on the road and you beat Notre Dame, and Notre Dame's had the kind of season that everybody expected. That's a huge win. They've taken care of business. It seems to be more about style points this year than it ever has been. I mean, you talked about Oklahoma and a couple of games that they've had to come back and win. It's about style points this year for the committee. And when it changes and rotates, you get a different set of criteria every time that happens. And this year it's style points.
Yeah, I asked Spencer about his Sooners, and Spencer was pretty blunt. He says the Sooners aren't going to win the Big 12. He said Oklahoma State is. I'm like, well, that'll fix everything. Then the Big 12 won't have anybody in the playoff again. So we will see, man. It's still a lot of football left. But, on that same note, Georgia, to me, is far and above the number 1 team. I mean, the defense is phenomenal.
Well, think about this for a second. Remember when the season started, the first couple of weeks, we were all raving about Alabama and how it's Alabama and everybody else. And then they go to A&M and get beat. So now it's all about Georgia and, Georgia, it's Georgia and everybody else. I think Georgia may be maybe an injury or two away from being as ordinary as we now look at Alabama, so to speak, because the defense has been outstanding. They've had some unfortunate turn of events with one of their defensive starters last week, who's not on the team or even on campus at this point in the season. So, a quarterback who has come in and really kind of plugged in for them and has played well. I just don't look at it like I think everybody this season can be had on any given Saturday. So, and Georgia included. Yeah, right now they're sitting on the top of the mountain watching everybody else and taking care of business, but there's somebody out there for them as well.
Yeah, they probably have to play Alabama one time before it's over.
That's in the SEC championship game. That's likely to happen, and it wouldn't surprise me one bit if Alabama walks away with a win there.
Yeah, I know, and then they'll still be 1 and 2 in the rankings.
Exactly.
We know how it works, Andre.
Oh,
hey, where you at? Where you at this weekend? Who are you calling?
I am at USF. I got to make sure I get the alphabet right. USF's hosting Cincinnati. So Cincinnati going in there with Desmond Ridder and that group. Excited to see them and Luke Fickell and the job that he's done this year. And maybe shame the committee a little bit more and to try to get them into the playoff.
I'm going to be listening, man. I'm going to be listening for it now the whole game. I'm going to watch it. All right, Andre Ware, man, thank you so much for joining us here on Huddle Up, man. Always a pleasure to have you on the show, man. And be safe this week and have fun.
Always a pleasure to be on, Bob. Anytime. Look forward to it, man.
Andre, always with some great insight. And the one thing that stood out there to me, he doesn't think Cincinnati gets in even if they finish undefeated.
I know.
It's not built for it, as he said.
It's not built for it, and that's what's very disappointing. And look, nobody wants to see Notre Dame get in. They're not going to get in this year, but the Notre Dame got in year after year after year. Look, give Cincinnati a shot. I just think Desmond Ridder is one of the best players in college football. And could they beat Georgia? Maybe not. But I think they'd give Oregon, Alabama, one of those schools, I think they'd stay in the ballgame.
We'll see if they can hang with the Cougars when they play for the conference championship.
That'll show a lot. But if they blow out the Cougs, who are very, very strong
Very
this
good.
year, that should make a little bit of a statement.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. Back with our high school segment when we come back.
All right, team, your favorite pro here. Now, look, we all know our Huddle Up fans now. We like our cars, but we also want a hometown discount, too. And lucky for us, all we need to do is make a short drive up I-45 North to Cowboy Kia, and lucky for us today,
Here out there, Webb. There's Jason Huddle Up.
we've got Mark Compton and Mark Webb here with us to tell a little bit more about Cowboy Kia.
Welcome. Hey, this is Mark Compton, Cowboy Kia. I got a few things for you. They need to come in, bring a friend, shake a hand, make a deal, but I got $500 off for Huddle Up.
Huddle up.
Huddle Up. Huddle Up. Jason Alexander, $500 off. Black Tie Service, Blue Jean Friendly.
That a baby. Now, look, we've got the best in used and new cars here at Cowboy Kia.
Cowboy, baby.
Mark Webb's going to give you 2 free college football winners. Mark Compton's going to give you the best deal in town. Come visit him today.
Always fun to huddle up here. Bob Slovak, the consummate pro Jason Alexander. Time to talk a little high school football. First weekend of the playoffs coming up. This gets my blood ready to go all the time, man.
Friday night lights on octane here coming up. First round of the playoffs, no doubt about it.
All right, let's jump in with our player of the week. Actually, players of the week. I went over to the Woodlands High School to check in with the Highlanders. They won the district title this week. Here's our interview. I got the Woodlands sophomore quarterback, Mabry Matauer, right? I said
Yes,
that right?
sir. Yes, sir.
And I got some big linemen back here. Get up here closer, guys. Get up here closer. We're going to talk about, I want to talk about, first of all, with you, Mabry, the comeback win over College Park to clinch the district championship. What was it? What happened there?
I mean, in the first half, we had to fight through some adversity, but then when we went in halftime, me and my coaches drew up some plays that we thought would work for the next half, and then we brought it to them.
You did. Now, you scored. I read where you leaped over a guy, did a little hurdle.
Yeah, I
into the
heard
end
of
zone.
somebody. Yes, sir.
Tell me about it.
I mean, I told my friend at the pep rally before the game that I was visualizing all day I was going to hurdle somebody, and then I did, so.
Did he really say that? I guess he did, man. That's pretty cool. I got some linemen back here. Everybody introduce yourself. You are?
Jalen Brown.
And you are?
Sebastian Duarte.
Cross Tucker.
Tell me what it feels like to win that district championship.
Feels good because of last year. Last year was a fluke, honestly. We're supposed to win that game, but all the pieces didn't come together. This year it did.
You made it happen. What do you say?
Yeah, I mean, it felt good. I mean, they were talking a lot of smack, and then we just showed up and shut them up.
You got them in the second half. Tell me about the second half against them.
It was really cool because we, at first half, we should have scored every single drive, but we just gave the ball back to them. And we just didn't score because of turnovers. But then in the second half, we got that problem fixed. So we scored pretty much every single drive.
Man,
I think we had 0 punts that game, right?
0 punts? That's the way you make
And
it.
then in the second half, we got that problem fixed. So we scored pretty much every single drive.
Man,
I think we had 0 punts that game, right?
0 punts? That's the way you make it happen. Come back in here, Mabry, now. So now we move on to the playoffs. Everybody's 0-0 again. You got spring coming up. What do you see happening in the game?
I mean, it's revenge part 2. I mean, I think our team's going to be ready to put up a dogfight, and I think we're going to come out with the win this week.
That's awesome.
Yes, sir.
I got to ask you, what's it like blocking for this guy?
I enjoy it. Especially with a quarterback like him.
I bet.
I mean, he knows how to make plays, so we just do our job and he does his job, so it's all good.
Yeah, everybody's working together.
Yes, sir. He's definitely a playmaker. So it makes our job easier.
Awesome,
I
man.
mean, I couldn't do my job without my boys in front of me, so they make it a lot more easy.
Definitely. The Highlanders are ready. They're ready for spring coming up Friday night.
Showdown in the Woodlands.
That is one of the big matchups of the first week of the playoffs. I checked in with KPRC sports director Randy McElvoy. He does a great Friday night high school show.
Friday Night Frenzy.
Friday Night Frenzy, 16th year, he told me. And he's got great insight. We checked in with Randy. Here it is.
Randy, how many years have you been doing that show now?
Oh, wow. I believe this is 16 years now that we've been doing the Friday night show. It's really funny because now you see guys that are in their 30s, they have kids and stuff. When you covered them in high school, you know what that's all about. Where now some of the relatives are coming through the ranks. But it's a lot of fun. We have a good time with it.
Yeah, it's a great show, man. I catch it whenever I can because you really encapsuled the Friday night action and everything. So it's really good. Let's talk about high school football as the playoffs get underway. Week number 1 of the playoffs. There's some great matchups this week. Where are you going to be? Where's Friday Night Frenzy going to be?
Well, we're kind of settling that now. We're leaning towards right now. Looks like I'm going to go to Deer Park versus Atascocita. It's a good first round matchup. 2 8-2 teams. Atascocita has already beaten a really good Allen team this year. And Deer Park kind of hung in there pretty good as well. So I think we're going to end up there. There's a slight chance we could end up at Challenger for Clear Falls and Dawson, but it looks like we're going to be Deer Park at Atascocita once we get clearance to be on site. That's what we got to do now in this COVID days. It takes a little bit more planning before we just show up.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. I went through a lot of the 6A and 5A matchups, and there's some great matchups. I went out to the Woodlands a while ago to talk to the Highlanders. They won the district and everything. This might be the toughest first-round matchup. 8-2 the Woodlands against 9-1 Spring. I mean, that is a heavy-duty first-round matchup.
That's a great one, and I've seen both teams this year. Both are really good. I saw Spring play Westfield earlier in the year out at Planet Ford Stadium. Spring's got really good offense, stud quarterback. You know, Woodlands always has athletes for many years. Seems like every year they're a playoff kind of threat. And of course, handful of years ago they went all the way to the finals, didn't they, with Coach Schmid there and his son. That is a great matchup. That's what the exciting thing is. There's a handful of really good matchups in these first rounds. It's all about how those seedings work coming out of districts. When you've got 4 teams now in 6A coming out of every district, you're going to get some really good matchups.
Definitely. The first round is always that way. When we get into the playoffs, you know, there's always a small handful of teams that really have a shot at winning it all. I was checking it out. Of course, Katy went undefeated this year, 10-0. They're back in Division II again, where they won the state championship last year. But Austin Westlake, which is number 1 in the state, Katy's number 2. They're both in Division II. That's kind of interesting right there.
Yeah, they would be Region 4, Austin Westlake. So that would be isn't it right when they meet up in the state semis?
If they're Region 4, yeah. I mean,
they usually end up playing those Austin San Antonio teams late. So that could be a state semifinal game right there if it all plays out like a lot of people think it will. Hey, I think it's awesome for Texas high school football. You get those. Katy is a team. You know Gary Joseph. He'll tell you in August, like, we're okay. We got to work on some things. And they've really got like a dominating defense and offense. He just doesn't tell you. But he gets them ready every week. And it seems like when they've got injuries, they've got guys just stepping right up. Katy's always there, having another good year. Their district's not real strong. It's better than it has been for sure. So you never know until they get into playoffs just how tested they're going to be. But they played pretty good non-conference, non-district, and he'll have them ready. There's no doubt.
He will. And just quick story before I move on. I was out there last week talking to our player of the week with Seth Davis, and it was raining. And I tried to text Coach to see if they're going to be out on the field because it was raining hard. I get out there. Guess what? They're on the field. They're on the field. And he goes, we'd be out here. We'd be on the field. And so I'm out in the rain trying to do this interview.
Oh, I love it.
So Westfield's 10-0. North Shore's 9-1. Ridge Point's 9-1. Stratford's 9-1. Clear Falls. Katy Pato. There's a lot of teams that didn't go undefeated that are 9-1 that really have a shot at this thing this season.
Oh, I agree. You just named a handful of really good teams. And I think I've seen I saw Stratford, North Shore. I've seen Clear Falls. What was the other side? Ridge Point. Yeah, Ridge Point. I was at the Ridge Point game this past week.
I left out Marshall. Marshall's 10-0.
Yeah, absolutely. Fort Bend Marshall in Class 5A, they're going to be making a run too. There's no question. I think they can go all the way and play for a championship. I don't know what the rest of the state looks like. I think they're 5A Division II, if I'm correct.
Yes, they're 5A Division II.
they're going to be fine. I think if Marshall, as long as they're healthy, I think they're going to be just fine. But some of these 6A teams you just mentioned, Stratford really is a sleeper team. They had a really good year. I saw them play one time early in the season. They looked really good. Clear Falls has a lot of talent. Rich Point has Bert Emanuel Jr. leading their offense and their quarterback. I think he's really talented. Now, the deal with Rich Point, I was at their game this past week talking with their coach, Rick LaFavors, and they're pretty banged up going to the postseason. He's a little concerned, and they lost a couple linemen earlier in the year that are really good, and then they lost another one Friday. So not sure how deep of a run they'll make, but you mentioned some of these other ones. Westfield obviously is loaded. Just so many great teams. That's what I love. And I love when they start knocking heads, man. And in the month of November, that's what it's all about as you get deeper in the rounds.
The one thing I like is so we watched North Shore be so dominant over the last few years, and Demetrius Davis moves on to Auburn. They didn't really miss a beat. They're 9-1. They're right there again. Coach K does a great job. So I mean, we know they'll be tough. They'll be a tough out in the playoffs.
Yeah, I thought they would be down. Honestly, going into the year, I thought they'd still be a good team for sure. But for North Shore standards, I thought they would be down a little bit with losing some of those key guys from that dynasty run they had. But man, they've answered the call. I mean, it's kind of like a Katy. They just have so much talent. Now they're North Shore coming through the ranks. I think Coach K just plugs and plays, man. He knows where they can fit into what he's trying to accomplish, and they've had another good year.
How many games you got on the slate for Friday night on the Frenzy?
Well, I was building it actually last night. I usually build it on actually got a head start last night. So we're looking at probably 13 or 14 games. And most of those we get ourselves, and we usually get one from Texan Live, one from Conroe ISD has a really good web stream that they do. We'll see if there's any games up there at Shenandoah. But we average anywhere from 12 to 14, and that's about all we can squeeze in. And I think we get 20 minutes for the show. So if we had 30 minutes, we'd be able to get them all in and maybe a couple more. But
well, I'm looking forward to it on Friday. I'll be checking it out for sure. Before I let you go, just real quick, some pro talk here.
Yeah,
I know you do the Texans coaches show with David Culley on Sundays. I don't know. I talk about this all the time, Randy. It's a rebuild. It was going to be going to be bad. It wasn't going to be pleasant, and that's kind of where we're at. I mean, you talk to them all the time. What's your kind of your thoughts on what's going on?
I mean, it is what we thought it would be. Actually, it's been a little worse than I thought it would be, to be honest with you. Now, part of that, Tyrod Taylor was out for 7 weeks. He showed promise in that first game and part of that Cleveland game, and it's like, okay, maybe they'll at least compete, still lose a lot of games, but at least compete. But when he went out, I mean, he was their best player on offense, and they started unloading all these players. And, I mean, it's a scrap to the bottom thing right now. I mean, I really like Coach Coley. I do. I obviously, he's learning as he goes as a head coach. It's been obvious he's made some sideline mistakes. But I like his enthusiasm. I like his love for the game. He loves his players. Players really like him. I tape that show every week, and we don't have one this week because it's a bye week, but you wouldn't know that they're 1-8 or whatever the particular record is that given week, because he's an enthusiastic guy. He knows what he signed up for. I'm not thinking that this is shocking him right now, but man, 8-game losing streak. You just hope they can. I got to look at the schedule and see if they can even have a chance to win anymore right now. It's really coming between them and the Detroit Lions, it looks like, for that number 1 pick.
Yeah, it is. It is for sure. But yeah, it's a rebuild. So, everybody's got to live through it. And, it's like we count down to the 2022 draft is what we count
That's
down
right.
to. See what goes.
Yeah, and then you start looking at who's out there. If they have to go find another quarterback, if they assess Davis Mills and figure out he's not maybe the right guy, they got to go get another one. But there's not like a great list out there coming up this spring. So I still think it's going to be a couple of years before this team's like a legitimate, back to normal. 2 or 3 years at least. I think it's going to take a little while. So I don't think it's going to be a 1-year fix at all. But hopefully it'll start showing signs of improvement next year.
All right, real quick before I let you go, Astros bow out, Game 6 of the World Series. That was a disappointment, but we talked about this last week on the show. The bats were kind of hot and cold throughout the year, and then they got cold at the wrong time, and the Braves were just red hot and everything. So my question to you, Randy, is, and I asked Phil Garner this last week, Is the window closing? Is it the window done with these guys right now?
I don't think it's done. I do think it's not as wide open as it was the last couple of years, just because of the fact the key pieces are you lost Springer, you lost Cole, you're probably going to lose Verlander. Verlander, there's a chance he could take that one.
Yeah, I heard that.
I don't know. But you're probably going to lose Correa. I mean, I think it's just the inevitable when you lose your stars. That window doesn't disappear; it just becomes a little more difficult. And I think that's going to be the case for the Astros. Are they going to be good? Yeah, I think they're going to be a real good team still. They still have a lot of talent, but they're going to have to fill some pieces. And assuming Correa does go elsewhere, what direction are they going to go on that position at shortstop? Is it going to be like a veteran guy who can maybe give you a year or two? Because they've got Jeremy Pena, I think is his name, the Skeeters guy who came up a little bit. He's supposed to be kind of one of the future options, but he's probably not quite ready yet to be that everyday guy. But I don't know what Phil told you, but I don't think it's over, because I think it's still a really good team. They're not like rebuilding or anything. They're just adding pieces. But I think it's going to become more difficult because I think this division is improving. Seattle showed that this year, and Oakland, of course, hung in there as well. It wasn't easy. I mean, it took the Astros that final weekend, didn't it, to clinch. So as good of a year that it was, it took a while to get that title in the AL West.
It did. And the thing, I don't think it's closing either because of the young guys we saw come up this year.
Right.
Plus the fact that Verlander didn't come back, that's a lot of money off the books. Greinke's money's off the books. Correa, he's gone. They got a lot of money. And
that's like 60 or 70 million. Yeah.
I know it. So, and we know from history that Crane and Click, they're going to go out and find some people. They'll find another frontline pitcher. I mean, I truly believe that. So I don't think it's closed. I think they're going to still be a contender next season.
I think, I do too. And I think it's just going to be, you just got to get used. We've become accustomed to the stars being there. Yeah. The names that are in that lineup. It was tough to get used to George Springer not being there. And now we're going to probably have to get used to Correa not being there. It's just a transitional time. Every team goes through it for the most part. And it's just when you've had this kind of success for 5 or 6 years now, whatever it's been, you get kind of spoiled. And now when these guys are gone, you got to get used to it. But I'm with you. I think Jim Crane's too much of a competitor. As owner of this team, he doesn't want it to go down the way it was. I don't think he'll allow it. I think he's spending the money to make them competitive.
I think they will. All right, Randy McAvoy, KPRC Sports Director. Thanks for joining us here on Huddle Up tonight. And Friday Football Frenzy starts at 10:20, right? Friday night?
10:20 Friday night. Round one of the playoffs. It's going to be fun.
Ought to be great. 16th year, man. A long run here in Houston. Love it, Randy. Thank you, man. Appreciate you being with us.
You got it, Bob.
First week of the high school playoffs takes 6 to win it all. 6 wins to win it all. Just getting started. It's going to be a fun month and a half, it's for sure.
We all love watching. You can't be from the state of Texas and grow up in the state of Texas and not be pumped up this time of the year.
Oh, it's going to be fun. All right. Hey, we got the pros picks coming up next. You ready, Jason?
Oh, Bob, we got some winners. I can't wait to share with all of you.
He's the pro. I'm Bob Slovak. We'll be right back.
Okay, team, look, calling a 20-second timeout to give you a hot take from the consummate pro on why everybody needs their own private golf cart, whether it's cruising around the neighborhood with a beverage of choice, living in a gated community, a vacation home, the golf course, and at the end of the day, chicks just dig it. Come down to Conroe Golf Cars, and oh my goodness, look here, we've got City Councilman Kurt Maddox here to tell us a little bit more about it.
Well, hey, Jason, my fellow lumberjack. Hey, not only am I the city councilman, also VP of Conroe Golf Cars. We've been here since 1974 and glad to have you. We sell them, we rent them, we build them. So we can do whatever you want. Everybody walks in here and says, hey, let me see your new car, your used car product. I said, well, these are all our used cars. So we start from the ground up, Jason. We take the cars in on trade, clean them up, put new batteries, lift them, do whatever. We call it a little cocktail cart or just a fun cart, recreational cart. So you can either buy it, rent it, or do whatever you want.
Kurt, I love it, and I'm going to tell you what. Listen to Kurt Maddox and the Consummate Pro. Come out and visit us here at Conroe Golf Cars today.
All right, back with Huddle Up with Bob Slovak, the consummate pro, Jason Alexander. It is time for the pros picks. Last week, man, you were red hot on the NFL.
I tell you, 2 weeks in a row on the NFL, Bob. We're starting to heat back up. We got to dial in these college football plays just a little bit. We're going to look for a 6-0 campaign coming up this weekend.
You got one over there in the far northwest. You got Wyoming and Boise State. The Cowboys getting 14, and you like that.
14, and their running game has come alive. We've got Titus Swin, Lou Williams. I'm telling you, in the backfield, I look for Wyoming to rush for almost 200 yards on that blue turf out in Boise. Look out for Wyoming to spring a humongous upset. We're going to take the 14 just to be safe, but it's our college play of the week.
All right. Minnesota and Iowa, you're going with the over. It's just 37.
We're betting the number more than anything. We've done this a couple times this year very successfully, if I might add. But look, I think Iowa's going to get a couple turnovers early from Minnesota, jump out to a little bit of lead, and we're going to expect Minnesota to score a couple trash touchdowns in the second half. I expect this to be over by the end of the third quarter. This is a no-sweater. Play over 37 for a winner.
Mississippi State, Auburn, Mississippi State getting 5.5. You like that number?
I like Mike Leach. I like Mississippi State, and this is betting a little bit more on the emotional letdown of Auburn last week after scoring only 3 points in Kyle Field. I think that was kind of their season. They were making a big push. Big loss for the Auburn Tigers, and I expect Mississippi State, who always plays hard and throws that ball around a little bit, I think they're going to upset Auburn at home. Playing plus the 5.5, that's 3-0 for college football.
Yeah, and you know Leach is going to have some kind of a trick play.
Of course.
Just going to wait for it.
We need for it to work.
Yeah, exactly. Let's go to the NFL now. Washington at Tampa Bay. It's the other way around. It's at Washington.
Which is why we're playing them, Bob. Which is why they're playing them.
And you're getting 10 points.
Tom Brady at Washington has never equaled a cover. Wow. I really like Tyler Heineke. I think Washington's played a lot of close games. If they can figure out a way to score in the red zone, I think this might come down to the wire. We're catching 9.5 to 10.5. Bet it later on Sunday. You're going to get double digits or better. So give it a little bit of time. Let it marinate some. And look out for the Redskins to only lose by 3. Tampa Bay kicks a late field goal to win.
Washington football team.
The Washington football team. Anyway, you splice it, it's going to be a winner. Plus 10.
We're going with the maroon and yellow there.
All right.
Sir. Cleveland and New England. You like the Browns getting 2 points.
I like the Browns even more after getting rid of OBJ. Big win last week. We rode them hard. They blow out Cincinnati at Cincinnati. Baker Mayfield, you say whatever you want to about him. He's got a lot of grit. He's got a lot of grind. And he's going to come in. He's going to sling the ball around. Look out for Jarvis Landry. We need Nick Chubb to play. Watch the injury report. But look for Cleveland to upset and cover against New England, even though Mac Jones, number 1 rated quarterback since week 5 in the NFL. Pretty neat stat. He won't be on Sunday. Baker Mayfield, the Cleveland Browns, with the win.
You know, the thing I love about Baker Mayfield is his commercials. He's Mr. Commercial. Have you seen the new one with Alice Cooper?
I have. Unbelievable.
I love that.
He's such a media darling on those commercials. It's just the best, and they've been very creative with him.
Oh, that was creative. Seeing the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is right there in the stadium.
Are you sure these aren't your boots? Okay.
That was pretty funny. All right, one last pick to go here in NFL. Minnesota plus 3 against the Chargers. You like the Vikings?
We all love Justin. Hey, Barrett, let me tell you something. Herbert, Minnesota doesn't get blown out by anybody. We're going to bet this number here. If we can catch it at 3.5, that's what we want to do. I know they're on the road, but Kirk Cousins, Mike Zimmer, they're a grindy, gritty team. Look for Dalvin Cook to have a big game on the ground. This might be a last-second field goal game, maybe a push. But if we can get this thing at 3.5, Bob, it is all go. Right pedal. I think it's going to be a 3-0 week for the NFL, but we want to get this college football dialed in as well. All 6 plays. Let's get that unicorn 6-0 and really get going, put a little money in your pocket.
We know you're hot on the NFL and hopefully heating up with the college football. That's going to do it for this edition of Huddle Up. I'm Bob Slovak. He's the consummate pro, Jason Alexander. Check back next week. We'll see how the pro did. We'll see you then.